What's going on YouTube? Flopfish here, bringing you a trade analysis of, trade deadline today. Kind of shocking, the final deal or biggest deal of the day. Cody Hodgson getting traded to Buffalo for Zach Kassian. Now, I was shocked by this, and I'm pretty sure you could view it as that, but within about an hour, I started to realize how good of a trade this was both ways, and I will explain that in this video. Now, at first this trade kind of seemed lopsided. Zach Kassian and Marc-Andre Gragnani, it's hard to pronounce his last name if you haven't heard it before, but it was shocking at first for Hodgson and Sulzer. Well, Gragnani for Sulzer, obviously a win straight up for Gragnani. That's a pretty good acquisition. He's got 11 points in 40 games in the NHL this year. Pretty solid defenseman right there, if you ask me. Could be a replacement for Sami Salo down the road. I forget his age. I think he's still a fairly young defenseman. But he's 24, so he's fairly young. He's got lots of offensive upside by looking at his stats, so maybe he'll be a good pickup, a good replacement for Sami Salo when he retires. Also a nice little addition on the blue line. Canucks need blue line depth. And Hodgson, as upset as I am to see him traded, he didn't belong on the Canucks. You can't have someone of his skill on a third line, and I wanted wingers to play with him, but getting Zach Kassian for him is a big deal in my opinion. You can't compare the two players straight up. You can't say Hodgson's a way better scorer than Kassian, because Kassian's not a sniper playmaker like Hodgson is. Hodgson is an elite player, but so is Kassian at his role. He's a power forward. He's got skill, he can hit people, he can fight. He's shown that throughout his career. He played alongside Taylor Hall in the OHL. He got almost a point per game performance in the OHL playoffs, including the Memorial Cup, with around 75 penalty minutes. So that's in like 35 games played. He got 32 points and 75 penalty minutes. That's a pretty good pickup for the Canucks, especially since they needed toughness. He's a big guy, lots of size and skill, and he'll fit in really well with Sammy Paulson and Yannick Hansen on that third line. That third line is looking solid. You can swap Max Lapierre in there and out of there. You can swap Hansen around, and the Canucks team is just looking really solid top to bottom. This may harm them in the future a little bit, but Kassian's also, he's pretty young. He's 20, I want to say 20. Pretty good player. Really, it's tough to compare him to Cody Hodgson because Hodgson is a completely different brand of player. Hodgson was one of those types of players that could lead a team. For a rookie, he was doing way more than what you expected out of him. And honestly, he was my favorite player to watch as a Canuck. He's always been one of my favorite players since he was drafted, and it was tough to see him traded. He's the first ever player I've actually collected for hockey cards too. Not that that has much to do with it. It should drive his card values up for a little bit, then they should drop down, so that might help my pocket a little bit. But yeah, I'm also moving out to Buffalo soon, maybe, depending on stuff in that general area, so I'll be able to see Hodgson more. Not really complaining there either. Like I said, I really enjoyed watching him. That one World Juniors, it was more him than Tavares that stole the show for me, and I've been a big fan of him pretty much since the year he was drafted. I was a big fan of him from then, but that trade doesn't really surprise me after the acquisition of Sammy Paulson, because it's kind of like we have way too many centers. Who are we trading away? And they're saying you can slot in Sammy Paulson on the wings, but he's too good of a centerman to slot him in on the wings, and you don't want to put Hodgson on a wing with what he's been doing at center. And putting the puzzle pieces together, you could kind of now realize that that's what he was acquired for. He was that third line player, and now the Canucks have a legitimate third line. Sorry about that, my phone was ringing, but the Canucks third line is insane now. Like, the combination of Hansen, Paulson, and Kassian could be very lethal in the playoffs. They like to hit All of them like to hit. You have Lapierre, you have Malhotra, you have Bitts, you have a whole bunch of other players. You have Gordon, who they picked up, a whole bunch of grinders for the bottom 6 forwards. They have lots of skill and speed up top, and then they still have skill. Don't forget, Kassian's a pretty skilled player. He's about a point per game in the AHL this year. He's got 7 points in 20 some odd games with the big club this year. You know, that's not bad. But I was really happy, and some scrub just came online there. But I was pretty happy with this trade now, thinking about it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on it. The winner of the day to me was short-term Vancouver. Loser or long-term would have been Buffalo, and Nashville would be my runner-up because they did pretty good. And anyways, guys, take it easy and see ya.